Hello, beautiful family. This is Paloma. I come back with the story the sky is telling for the next few days. Thank you for sharing space with me in this weekly reunion. So we've entered the 1 year of 2026. We are still vibrating in this extremely emotional full moon in Cancer that just perfected itself on the 3rd of January with that clarity through feeling and this sensation of we need to close up some things in order to fully open into the new vibration. So January starts a bit with that feeling like we want to order, simplify, set the foundations for a good year, but I would still invite us to go slowly, to be gentle. Not everything is urgent, not everything is right now, but we can begin to trace a path, especially about what and with whom we want to commit our energy and our time, especially this week. So I told you, I think last week in the video about this sequence of events in Capricorn that we're having, where right now we have Mercury, the Sun, Venus, and Mars, all of our inner planets, personal planets in the school of bones, of structure, of ancestors, of ancestry and responsibility. Capricorn is a lot more than ambition and goals. Now, there is a very spiritual dimension to the self-mastery, self-realization, earth that consolidates and that perseveres because it builds for the long term. So we are through this week in the moon phase of a full moon, so there's plenty of light, and there's a sky inviting us to see, to feel, and to start choosing. To begin with, we have the Venus start point in Capricorn. This is on the 6th of January, the day of astrologers, and astrology at 16 degrees of Capricorn. This star point is a conjunction of Venus and the Sun in its, I would call it the full phase. I mean by this, it responds to a bigger cycle that actually opened up January 2022. And it is now showing us something in terms of the Venus aspects, relationships, values, beauty, creativity. So we can perhaps reorganize those themes and under the lens of Capricorn, of course. So I think it's calling us into sowing in the earth that which we will really, really love. Relationships, values, commitments that will hold our life in the long run. It is a moment to unite creativity with discipline so that our ideas can find a concrete frame where to grow with clarity and with humbleness. Capricorn is the school of sacred structures. It's inviting us to build from responsibility and to open ourselves up into the maturity that honors ancestral memory and the wisdom that we already carry within, that we carry in our bones. So in the actual map of the Venus star point, the dialogues that come with this transit, there's different voices that align for us to hold change. There's Juno there, asteroid of commitment, reminding us the commitment that lasts through time when we share energy. Mercury is bringing our thoughts into planning for the long term and translating words into actual decrees that will hold our decisions. And Venus there with the Sun, of course, is renewing vows with the light of consciousness. It is an invitation to move from theory to experience, to build a culture of compassionate leadership with clear boundaries and devotion that address both personal, ancestral, and collective well-being. Capricorn speaks to a practical grace, I would say, to make the sacred take form, to make greatness be held by daily actions. That's what I mean. So what does success mean for you right now? What structures do you need to create so that your truth can move with freedom and service? This is a transit that it's inviting us to let go of all dramas, to weave with patience and love this inner home and outer home so we can hold life in all of its dimensions. We are artists of time. We inherited the wisdom that is now manifest, that can be manifested now through consistency, responsibility, and tenderness, with a discipline that doesn't like it's not rigid or tied, but it simply holds. Venus, that is love, relationship, creativity, values, resources, is asking us as well to mix, to like weave together pleasure, beauty, and connection to our sense of productivity, of bonding, and through what I would call like a joyful responsibility. So there will be revisiting agreements of consolidation or dissolving of commitments in terms of relationships and alliances. There are the very clear establishing of responsibilities of the involved parts. And all of this through the maturity acquired throughout all of these years, all of these 4 years in the Venus cycle. So it can be a very prosperous stage and seed as well, I would say, if we drive the energy towards it. It's not about immediate gratification or dopamine. It's about another kind of energetic commitment. So the next day, on the 7th of January, we have the beginning of a new cycle between Venus and Mars. So these are the cosmic lovers. This is a manifestation of genuine desire and action. I think it symbolizes a new cycle in relationships that combine impulse and desire. It's very fertile, very passionate. The actual relationship between Venus and Mars is not, it's like every couple years, but the fact that the sun is there as well, this is a bit more unusual. I would say 7 years for this to happen. So in this moment, we are invited to reflect about the values, internal values, self-esteem, and how this manifests in our interactions with the world. It's about defining what we desire to build, again, in the long term. This alliance of Venus and Mars, it's speaking to a very powerful impulse to manifest those values, to create. It's amazing for creative projects. It's an ideal moment to take initiatives in relationships, for example, or creative projects endeavors. And to me, this is a sacred marriage of masculine and feminine energy, impulses remembering with their bones now that we ought to do this together. Know that it is through the healing of both these energies and restoring the respective original frequencies that we can actually create. And 2026 is a year for us to remember that we are creators and to actually wield that power. And this is where we set the foundation for that. So we need to, I would say, check in with ourselves in the balance of both energies, both impulses, healing our perception of them so we can manifest this in harmony in the world. It's a beautiful way of, like, as you can see, setting the energy for 2026. Because 2 days after the Venus star point, by the 9th, we have the Sun and Mars joining together in their own synodic cycle. They're starting a new synodic cycle, which is also super powerful. This is a moment of resetting, renewal, impulsed by the energies of these very masculine, very young energies, Mars and the Sun, that are inviting us, I would say, to have courageous, I would say, courageous with the decisions we make in our lives. I think there's a healing energy as well here in terms of the commitments with our relationships, searching for authenticity, connection to just our most vital purpose, which is the sun, really. I think we will still be in the influence of this full moon in Cancer that generates this emotional awareness that can allow or facilitate a significant twist or plot twist in our lives, promoting this growth and this clarity. This is an ideal period to align our desires with the purpose of our souls, and for this to become clear, and for us to become responsible and accountable, to walk our truth, to walk our talk. And so also I want to say that all of these alignments in Capricorn are actually in front of Jupiter, even though they will start perfecting within this period of time. Jupiter is right in front, and Jupiter amplifies the potency of all of these encounters. And it can also amplify the need for these clear boundaries, for self-care, self-nourishment. It can also amplify some irritability or reactivity when we speak of Mars there, because we're coming from this very emotional full moon. And perhaps that made us feel where we are lacking nutrition or self-care or boundaries or love. And this is a moment calling us into coherence, aligned action, sensible and intuitive strategy, a very practical impulse, and a very discerning clarity. So with who and with what do I want to commit my energy and my time? Because all of these activations in Capricorn are ruled by Saturn in Pisces direct. There is a profoundly spiritual dimension to what is happening, very karmic, very contundent weather, I would say. Saturn is walking towards Neptune. They are both soon to leave the school of these star waters, the compassion and the infinite love of Pisces, to initiate this very powerful new cycle of fire. So yes, we are sort of setting the foundations in Capricorn, but it is through dissolving. It is through letting go. It is through culminating and saying goodbye and also accepting. There's a lot of acceptance in this sky in order for us to build the new. There is the need to align ourselves with divine guidance, to trust in the higher intelligence that leads us. Because I am talking to you about commitments and decisions, and we may not have everything solved yet. And it's okay, because our body knows, our bones know, and our soul is leading the way. Yes, and also, while these personal planets are moving through Capricorn, they will start making squares to Chiron as well. This is part of the weather for the next week or a few more days. Chiron is now direct, stations direct at the beginning of January, 2nd of January, I believe, very much with the energy of the full moon. And there is a layer to this energy that I think it's asking us a lot of self-respect about our own healing journey, inviting us to dignify our path, our energy, and to choose from a strengthened self-love. And then maybe, yes, to repair, to heal, to find reconciliation if the situation opens up for this. There is this something sober and inspiring in this sky. It's just a feeling of, yes, this is it, this is the moment. Something inside of us knows. It's possible that all of this energy that is mobilizing us this week with all of these alignments there, one after the other in Capricorn, that we will actually feel this grounding in a more comprehensible way once that both Venus and Mars reappear in the sky, because right now they are invisible. They are embraced by the sun. They are in their own transformation process, update process. And all of these conversations will bring forward their more tangible expression and energy, I would say, when they come back into sight in the actual sky, which is March for both of them. And also to mention, I mean, 3i Atlas actually made a pass through Venus, through Mars, and through the Sun as well. And now they're all conjoined there. So I think these encounters are also charged with the information they have received, the plasma, the light, the origin, ancestral memory, so that we can restore peace and creation in our earth. So in whichever house you have Capricorn, there's a lot of energy going on there since the beginning of January with the full moon, and then of course with all of these alignments until the 18th, when we have the new moon in Capricorn, just the day before we enter the new season of Aquarius. When we enter Aquarius season, we will also have a massive stellium in Aquarius. They will all conjoin Pluto, and we will enter eclipse season. So that's why I say right now we are sort of setting this foundation, might be in this structure that is perhaps still invisible, but it's going to require very committed action, integrity throughout the next few months. But this is what I mean, like I think by March, we will be feeling this is more settled in our fields. Okay, I think that's what I have for this week, my beautiful family. Yeah, yes. Well, I'm hoping you have a gentle opening of 2026. I thank you for your trust. I honor your path. Blessings. Tlazo Kamati.